Okay, we're going to try one more time. Now I'm using my phone to see if this works. So if anybody's with me, could you let me know that this is working? If anybody's jumped back on here with me. I'm not going to say anything until I know that I might have some folks with me. Okay, Aunt Joe, can you hear me now? Do I have any sound at all? Okay, good. My goodness. I just don't know what I'm going to do with this, with all my technology problems these days. But anyway, we're gonna try again. Hopefully you can see me. I have my phone working now. So it's Thursday, June 17th. It's a beautiful morning this morning. So glad you could spend these few minutes together with me as we share in our daily word. It's a beautiful sunny day, and so it looks like we might get some rain the next couple of days, but it's wedding weekend for me. Got a wedding this weekend, and the couple's excited, and so we'll look forward to that. Yesterday, I was at Sycamore Hospital and had my injection in my back. They are highly efficient there and really a lot of fun. This is my third time there, and they know me, and so they said, well, Jim, you're a pro. You could we'll give you a mirror and you can do this yourself. Of course, I passed on that, but they always give me a hard time because I'm too tall for the beds, and so I'm always hanging over the end of the bed. But I think I've seen a little bit of result from that injection yesterday with the pain in my leg, so I'm not sure how long it'll last, but I'll take whatever I get. So Psalm 1, I know we've probably done it before in our time together, all these months, but Psalm 1 is the text we used last night for our daily word. And so if you couldn't join us, for lots of reasons, folks couldn't join us, you missed out. I had planned on probably 12 or 14 people coming, because that's who said they might come, and ended up with 6 people. And so we had more than enough food that we had leftovers. And so folks don't mind taking leftovers home. And so hopefully you'll join us on the 30th for our second Summer in the Psalms. It was a beautiful night last night to be outside in the shelter. So we chose Psalm 1, and that's where we began, because Psalm 1 is the preface, it's the beginning of the book of Psalms. And we know that the book of Psalms, as we're taught, is written by David, and also some of the Psalms are written by his son Solomon, and maybe a couple other folks that might go unidentified of writers of this book. And so it's a rather short psalm, but we hear these words. Blessed is the one who does not walk in step with the wicked, or stand in the way that sinners take, or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. The person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields fruit in its season, and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Not so the wicked, they are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. And so the book of Psalms is sometimes known as the Psalter. It's really the songbook of ancient Israel. And you know from many songs that we've sang, the lyrics of songs come right from the Psalms. And David is this prolific writer of songs and hymns and guidance. And you know, in all of the book of Psalms, there's David who reminds us of his relationship with God. And sometimes this relationship is intimate and close. Our favorite psalm that we might know is Psalm 23. And for me, that's when the psalmist really realizes who God is. There are other psalms, as you read them and look at them, that are laments where the psalmist cries out to God, "Where are you, God? Why have you abandoned me? Because I just feel like I'm all alone in this idea of what it means to live life." And so this is the beginning. It talks to us about what it means to be happy is the person who lives in a certain way. Now, happy comes in lots of forms, right? Sometimes it's just sheer happiness. Sometimes it's the realization that we've been blessed. Sometimes it's the connection with what it means to have good fortune. But it never occurs in the singular. It always occurs within community and with those around us. And so the psalmist says to us in this that blessed is the one, you and I, who doesn't walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sits in the company of mockers. And we talked about last night this interesting question about who it is that we take advice from. Where do we get our advice? And one of the things we talked about is that a lot of times our advice comes from our gut, right? We know right from wrong, and if we're about to do something, sometimes our gut just reminds us, yeah, we really shouldn't be doing that. Other times, we get it from friends and coworkers and relatives, people that we can trust, we can have deep conversation with. We get our guidance from those ways, and that helps us to walk in a certain path and not be misled in how that we live our lives. The writer says to us really that the verbal root from this is to go in a straight line, to proceed without hindrance. And sometimes the Bible even says to us that we're called to get on with life and keep moving forward in our life. The psalmist goes on to say then for us that we delight in the law of the Lord and meditate on his law day and night. And we do that in such ways, we're not always have to be so spiritual in our life and walk around. Sometimes I characterize that as being happy Jesus people. We certainly don't have to do that. I was in my clergy meeting the other day, and we talked about the psalm and the psalm that said, praise the Lord and how we go about praising the Lord. And I said that for me, worship has never been really the place that I found that we praise the Lord. But worship on Sunday morning is about learning. It's about being in prayer. It's about lifting our voices in song. But praising God, for me, happens in relationships. It happens in conversation with other people. It happens around the table. It happened last night. The handful of us that gathered last night, that's praising God. The other day, I went to the spot to get a sandwich, and they like to give me a hard time. I don't really deserve it, but they like to give me a hard time. And so I placed my order, that I was there to pick it up. And of course, I knew the voice on the other end. It was Debbie, who said, it'll be out in a couple hours. And I said, you better bring that food out here yourself. And so she did, actually. She brought her food out, and we're having this conversation, and she's telling me a couple of things that are going on with the spot, and that actually if I wanted to, if I placed my to-go order, I could actually go inside and eat it. She said, but everybody doesn't know that, but because we're close to you, we wanted you to know. See, for me, that conversation is about praising God, that we delight in the law of the Lord. We meditated on it day and night, and our lives then affect the lives of others. The person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields fruit in its season, whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. You see, for me, when we plant ourselves, you and I, by streams of living water, and sometimes it really is water that we plant ourselves by. One of the reasons I like being at the lake, we have a couple of ponds at the campground, and I like to drive around the lake and sit at the spillway that they've redone and to watch the water. And I talk to fishermen usually when I'm there. I'll talk to anybody. I don't like to fish. I'm not a fisherman. I have no interest in fishing, but I love to hear about what they're about and how they go about it and all the stuff that they use. The psalmist, interestingly enough, gives us this idea that there are two paths. There's the path of the righteous and there's the path of the wicked. And that's found a lot in the scriptures and in wisdom literature. This idea that we have a choice. We can walk in the path of righteous or we can walk in the way of the wicked. And the psalmist reminds us that when we choose to walk in the path of righteous, even though that's not always an easy path for us to take, when we walk in that certain way, it's like being planted by streams of water and it yields fruit and our leaves don't wither and whatever they do prospers. And we talked a bit last night that the word prospers, for us doesn't mean having a lot of money in our wallet. What prospers means is that our lives are enriched and enhanced, and because they are, then they affect the lives of those around us. And that's such an important thing for us to put our hope and our trust in. The Lord watches over the way of the righteous, the psalmist says to us. And so I think there's great hope in this for us. If we ever needed hope in our lives, and we certainly need hope in our lives. If there was ever any hope that we could find in this psalm, is that God watches over us. And that God guides us as we choose the path of righteousness. When we live our lives and our lives then enhance the lives of others, our leaves don't wither and whatever we do prospers. And for me, prospers means that it grows in size, and it doubles and it increases and our lives are changed. And then because of that, others' lives are changed. And, for you and for me, there is this deep need, to find hope, to know that God guides us, to know that in all of our lives, whether we're on the happy side or whether we're struggling with something at the moment, that God guides us and is like us being planted by streams of living water. And, I've had some rough days. It seems like this week has gone on forever. I'm not feeling well. I'm having to do other things. Being a little disappointed at folks who didn't come last night. But then I'm reminded, we're sitting in the circle and we're having this great conversation last night about this text. And I'm reminded, that God guides us. And as we continue to do what it is that God calls us to do, it prospers and it grows. And, our lives are enhanced by it. And so for us, I need to hear this word, and I'm sure you need to hear this word that moves in us and shapes us and then helps us to live in certain ways. So thanks for hanging with me this morning. I know it's been tough with this technology. I probably just ought to use my phone all the time, knowing that it works the best until I can get a different iPad. And hopefully you've put flame to your candle as I have, as a reminder of the presence of the Holy Spirit. Hope this word, this psalm that we could just meditate on day by day, would fill us and help us to live our lives and know that God is always with us in the midst of our days. So have a great day. Know of love and peace. Know of grace and mercy. Thanks for being patient. Know of God's love that surrounds you and surrounds me. And know of my love for all of you. And we'll be back on track with all this and get all this figured out. And join us Sunday morning at 10:15 for worship. And I'm working on those crazy cameras. And we'll get those figured out as well so that we are live streaming in a better way. Know of my love for all of you. And I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.